Hey guys, Bubba here with the Bubba News, all in one word, all in one news. How are you guys doing tonight? Can't believe we are tracking along here this week. It is now Tuesday, May 13th. Oh my goodness, and tomorrow is the 77th anniversary of Israel becoming a nation in 1948, May 14th, 1948. But today's video is going to be Trump and Saudi Arabia, because there's a lot of things going on in Saudi Arabia today, and he's going to be there tomorrow as well. And if you don't mind, today we're going to be showing probably more videos than actual images. I know people like to be visually, see stuff on the screen there. So yeah, we're going to have some videos and whatnot. But really bizarre how it all started out with, you see Trump wearing the purple tie there. And he came down the stairs from the airplane and it was all purple, for royalty. But real quick before we get going, for those of you praying for my wife, Mrs. Bubba, we went today for the second time to the physical therapy for her shoulder, and her range of motion has increased from 85 degrees to 110 degrees. So that's a good start. So for those of you who've been praying for me, and I wanted to say thank you again. There was like 3 super stickers or whatever on the last premiere, and I just want to say thank you for those who have donated and whatnot. You guys are awesome, but oh, what a time to be alive, guys. This is crazy because everything is coming up in the Middle East, and Trump and Saudi Arabia, he was there. Here, I'll scroll in so you can see his cheesy face right there with Mohammed bin Salman there. But they were there for this huge Saudi investment forum. And yeah, we'll get to that story, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and he says that they had a great day in Saudi Arabia, and you guys will see here in a second when we get to the video section of the video here, and get to showing that. But you know what? This is going to come up a lot, I believe, here in the next couple of days as well, because Israel's getting ready to go in with the chariots, the full-on Gideon's chariots operation, and going into Gaza full bore, and they're going to try to get 2 million Gazans eventually down into just the Rafah corridor. We're going to start hearing a lot more about that. And, Israel's saying once they go into Gaza, they are not leaving. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. But, I always think back to, the disciples. The disciples asked Jesus 3 important questions in Matthew 24. And that was today's Bible verse I threw up there. Because this is just a cool thing, and it's just right in here, right now. The disciples, verse 3 up there, they asked Jesus 3 questions. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, number 1, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, number 2, and of the end of the world, or the end of the age? And Jesus answered them and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. This is the first thing Jesus tells the guys. You know what? The disciples there, the Mount of Olives, this is the first thing he tells them. He doesn't tell them the war battle plans of what's coming. First thing he says, take heed that no one deceives you, misleads you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you not be troubled. For all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Ethnic groups against ethnic groups. There shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places all over the world. Right before I hit record, I saw there was a big earthquake off the coast of Greece. A bunch of them, 5s and 6s, are popping off now. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended. And I looked that up, and it was referring to many shall fall away, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And this is exactly what we're seeing today with that Hashem. Remember that guy last week or right before Easter, after the Pope's passing? And that Abdullah Hashem guy said he's the new Mahdi, he's the new replacement Pope. That crazy doomsday cult guy. But, everything today has been about Trump being in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia laid out all the bells and whistles today. Trump's going to be there in Saudi Arabia tomorrow, and then he's going to Qatar there on Thursday, I believe. And then, he's also supposed to go to Turkey on Thursday. Maybe he's not going, but I know he's meeting with the Al Shara dude, the Jolani guy, tomorrow. The guy from, the Syrian new president, he just flew in tonight into Riyadh, and he's meeting with Trump tomorrow. But today, talking about Trump being in Saudi Arabia, the Royal Guard, the Saudi Royal Guard, they greeted President Trump's limousine with white horses carrying American flags, escorting the beast, that's the name of his presidential limousine, through Riyadh. This wasn't a handshake. This isn't a photo op. This is the Saudi kingdom showing allegiance to the United States. There were no fist bumps. There were no side glances. This was a full ceremonial honor. The Middle East officially just crowned its new partner, and it's not the guy who needed a cue card to find his chair. Here he comes up in the beast, of all things. There's those beautiful white horses. They laid out all the stops for Trump today. Mohammed bin Salman personally went to the airport and greeted Trump when he got off the airplane. This is big news to Saudi Arabia. This is big. But you know what? Even with these white horses, it reminds me of Revelation 6, 1 and 2. The white horses of the apocalypse. But, even today, so many CEOs showed up today at the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum in Riyadh. Trump secured a $600 billion deal with Saudi Arabia. And he basically brought the entire tech elite team with him. And I'm going to show you a video clip of some of the CEOs that were there. Sam Altman, OpenAI. Elon Musk was there, and we're going to show a couple of videos of him. You've got the CEO from NVIDIA, with all the special high-powered computer chips that they need. Larry Fink from BlackRock. You had the top people from Amazon. Google was there. AMD, Qualcomm, Uber, who's probably going to hook up with Elon Musk with what they're going to do with robo-taxis in Saudi Arabia. But also IBM, but also Palantir. A lot of you guys know Palantir. This is the company that's in bed with Israel, and they're the ones that will track and trace and do all that crazy stuff globally. But they met with the Saudi Crown Prince directly inside the Saudi royal court. And this is the same room where trillion-dollar energy and tech deals have been negotiated over the past decade. So there's a $600 billion in U.S. Saudi investment, $142 billion in U.S. military contracts, making this the largest arms deal in history. $142 billion. $80 billion going into joint tech adventures across AI, digital infrastructure, cloud systems. $20 billion from Saudi's data vault into U.S.-based AI data centers and energy infrastructure. Major U.S. firms are going to start building smart airports in Saudi Arabia, mega parks and digital cities in Saudi Arabia. But check out all these CEOs. There know if you guys have ever seen videos of Alex Karp there, but he is just bizarro. Oh my word, is he out there? But you know what? Trump went on to announce the lifting of sanctions on Syria while he was there in Saudi Arabia today, because he had discussions with the Saudi Crown Prince. And when he announced it, he got a standing ovation. And the White House said that the U.S. president will meet tomorrow with the Syrian president, al-Shara Jolani. So this will be the first meeting between American and Syrian presidents in 25 years tomorrow. So U.S. President Donald Trump said, Prince Mohammed bin Salman and I have a lot of love for each other. But listen to the very end of this next video. Trump says, oh, what I'd do for the crown prince. This is like, instead of a romance, this is like a bromance between Trump and MBS. Mohammed bin Salman. Check this out.
President Erdogan of Turkey, who called me the other day and asked for a very similar thing, among others, and friends of mine, people that I have a lot of respect for in the Middle East. I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
Here it comes.
Oh, what I do for the crown prince.
Okay. Oh, what I do for the crown prince. Ay, ay, ay. Well, this next one, it's Trump, and he's talking about Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. And Trump says it will be a special day in the Middle East with the whole world watching, when Saudi Arabia joins the United States. But he says this to Mohammed bin Salman, you'll do it in your own time. That's what I want, and that's what you want, and that's the way it's going to be. It's like Trump knows that Saudi Arabia is going to announce this, the Abraham Accords coming up, but Trump knows that MBS is still waiting. He's a businessman as well, and Trump knows that. But Trump is he's reshaping the Middle East strategy, because it looks like the Abraham Accords are going to move forward without Israel. We're still going to be part of it, but not making these decisions like this. So, you know, Trump he's doing a bold shift in Middle East policy. And he's removing the longstanding requirement that Saudi Arabia recognize Israel in order to finalize the Abraham Accords. Here's what somebody said. This is a complete reshaping of the regional order, and it's not being done with force. It's being done with the force of Trump's personality. We haven't seen anything like this in 70 years. And with rising tensions between Trump and Netanyahu and mounting frustration over the hostage negotiations, the White House is prepared to move forward with a U.S.-Saudi agreement, even without Israeli involvement. President Trump's strategy continues to prioritize peace through strength without compromising the American leverage. So in other words, he's a businessman, and he's moving forward with business deals, going to get this done with Saudi Arabia, with or without Israel. What Trump is basically doing with Saudi Arabia is like, we're going on this big boat over here, we're going on the global boat, and Israel, if you want to join, you better jump aboard now. All right, check out this video. He's talking about the Abraham Accords.
The historic Abraham Accords that we're so proud of. All the momentum was aimed at peace, and it aimed very successfully. It's been an amazing thing, the Abraham Accords, and it's my fervent hope, wish, and even my dream that Saudi Arabia, a place I have such respect for, especially over the last fairly short period of time, what you've been able to do, but we'll soon be joining the Abraham Accords. I think it'll be a tremendous tribute to your country, and it will be something that's really going to be very important for the future of the Middle East. I took a risk in doing them, and they've been an absolute bonanza for the countries that have joined. The Biden administration did nothing for 4 years. We would have had it filled out. But it will be a special day in the Middle East with the whole world watching when Saudi Arabia joins us. And you'll be greatly honoring me, and you'll be greatly honoring all of those people that have fought so hard for the Middle East. And I really think it's going to be something special. But you'll do it in your own time, and that's what I want, and that's what you want, and that's the way it's going to be.
Isn't that crazy? But you know what? Next I'm going to show Elon Musk, but he literally believes that a utopia is coming to global society, not tribulation. And Elon Musk goes on to talk about universal basic income, and he basically says that this is going to be universal high income, where anyone can have any goods or services that they want. He said this during the Saudi U.S. Investment Forum. Then he goes to talk about, towards the end of the video, how they want to go and search out all the stars and to find a happiness basically tomorrow that we don't know today. They're looking for happiness in all the wrong places. This is wild. Check this out.
About universal basic income. I think it's actually going to be universal high income, where anyone can have any goods or services that they want. Now, there obviously are some risks, which illustrate perhaps if we don't do this right, you could have like a James Cameron sort of movie, Terminator. We don't want that one. But having sort of a Star Trek future would be great, where we're out there exploring the stars, discovering the nature of the universe, and a level of prosperity and hopefully happiness that we can't quite imagine yet. So I'm very excited about the future.
Out there exploring the stars and hopefully a happiness, wow, that we haven't quite found yet or whatever. Man, this is crazy. I mean, but what do you expect from the elites of the world? Because, this world is not our home. We are just passing through. We are literally aliens. We're strangers in a foreign land. But for so many people, your best life now, this is their best life now, because this is all that they're going to know. They're not going to know eternity, at least in a positive way. But tomorrow is the big United States, it's the Gulf Summit, where all the Gulf nations have been invited, from Bahrain to Qatar to UAE to Saudi Arabia, of course, Kuwait. But Trump uses time today to also mention the threat by Iran and warned Iran to choose wisely. Trump said basically Iran can have a much brighter future, but we will never allow Americans and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or a nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now. We don't have a lot of time to wait. I think Trump's basically warning them because they're supposed to go to this fifth session of talks coming up, and I saw something where Iran is meeting with oh goodness, they're flying somewhere. All of them are meeting somewhere in Europe there, and they're meeting. Maybe it's Turkey. I can't remember offhand, but it's Friday, and there's 3 European partners, and it could be Britain, Germany, France. Are going to meet there to discuss the nuclear talks. But here's
with
what
that
Trump
said,
said.
Iran can have a much brighter future, but will never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now, we don't have a lot of time to wait.
Isn't that wild? There's a lot going on. There's really so much going on. It's hard to just throw it in here into this little video format. What do we have next? We've got, this was great. For those of you who were able to come by a Vendog Radio earlier, I was on there for a little bit giving the Bubba News report, and Tom Hughes was there. So that was a lot of fun. So thanks, guys, for being there. And thank you so much for your prayers and your help and encouragement and whatnot. But, you know, this whole thing, because we've got over here, well, not Trump and Saudi Arabia. I had a picture of a Macron. But, you know, between him and Mohammed bin Salman, they are really going to start pushing this whole peace thing with Palestine and the two-state solution. The June 2nd through the 4th meetings there at the United Nations in New York is going to be the first steps. And who knows? They might even announce something with the Abraham Accords tomorrow with Saudi Arabia. Who knows? You might see Kuwait want to join the Abraham Accords. We'll have to wait and see. It may not come out until the June conference or whatnot. And even, you know, but they could be even still talking about a 7-year plan. And that's kind of gone to the wayside for the second, it just seems like for a hot minute, but it's not, because all of these players are working for the same goal. And they all know that. And this is why it was such a big deal today for Trump being there in Saudi Arabia. And it's going to be an even bigger day tomorrow. And then following up with Qatar, and then United Arab Emirates, where Trump is also going to attend the Abrahamic Family House, where they have the 3 different places of worship for the 3 monotheistic faiths of Judaism, Christian, and Islam. So there's a lot of things coming up, especially with Trump and Saudi Arabia. But that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your prayers. And reach out to me, and we'll talk soon. Maranatha. Jesus Christ is coming so very soon.